Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the council meeting for the Mayor and City Council, City of Taneytown for the month of July of 2020. We'll begin with Councilman Hale leading us in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman. Let the records reflect that all council members are present and accounted for this evening. And we will begin with approval of the minutes from the June 3rd workshop and June 8th regular meetings. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept or approve both sets of minutes.
All right, is that as presented, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
All right, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, that is the motion by Councilman Vigliotti and second by Mayor Pro Tem Foster. Any further discussion on the minutes? All right, hearing none, all in favor signify with thumbs up. And all opposed. All right, it is unanimous for the clerk to record. I'll now ask the council if they have any conflicts of interest on anything that appears on the agenda this evening. Council, do you have anything?
No, sir.
All right, everyone is happy. You look happy tonight. It's great. Moving right into our resolution ordinances and agreements. Up for adoption this evening, we have Resolution 2020-08. This is our monthly water allocation. This one for July of 2020. I will seek a motion.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. Is that to approve, Mayor Pro Tem Foster?
Approve.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second on that motion? All right, I believe that second was from Councilman Hale. He muted when he said it. Is there any discussion on the water allocation? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving the water allocation for July 2020, signify with your thumbs up. Very good. And all opposed, it is unanimous for the clerk. Thank you all. All right, now I will ask Mr. Wieprick, do you have any updates for your city manager report or the departmental reports this month?
I would just like to add a quick plug for the census. There is still time to respond if folks have not already done so. We're hoping to beat our response rate from 10 years ago. And the more folks that respond and from Taneytown, the better off the city is. Every person that goes uncounted, they say over the course of 10 years costs the local jurisdiction $18,000. So we really want everyone to respond and get our numbers as accurate as they can be. So just wanted to throw that out there for those who are watching or listening. And that's about it. Thank you.
All right, I know as a whole, the county's doing pretty well in the state, but we still need to do better. I think at last check, we were just over 73% response rate. Is that still correct, Mr. Wieprick?
That's correct.
All right, and that's for the city. Always hoping to do better. If you don't respond, you're going to have people knocking on your door. So you may as well just do it by mail or on the internet and avoid the awkward conversations. Any questions for the city manager report or departmental reports from the council? Everyone is good. Very, very good. I'll go to Mr. Gullo. Any updates with your legal report this month?
No updates, but I'd like to get closure on the matter. As I told you, the Davis matter with the attack on City Hall is going to be heard in September, and we're doing prep work. I've got meetings scheduled to do this, so I need your consensus that Councilman Vigliotti will be the voice of the city, if that is okay with you.
All right, I'll ask the council. Are you in favor of Councilman Vigliotti representing the city from the mayor and council during this trial, during the sentencing hearing, I guess is what it is? Sentencing?
Yes.
Very good. If you approve of such things, I'll see a thumb. Looks good. Councilman Vigliotti, I assume you're good since you're involved. All right.
I didn't know whether this is something I could add my own thought into or not. So.
Well,
No
if you say no, we'd like to know that right up front.
Right.
No, I'm completely honored and willing to represent this city. Absolutely. And thank you for the honor.
Very good. Mr. Gullo, it is by consensus unanimously that Councilman Vigliotti do so. And Ms. Kalman, if you would please let the record reflect that as well. Anything else, Mr. Gullo, from you?
No, that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. With that, we're going to move into some old business. This is our essential employee leave policy presented to everybody through email initially from Mr. Wieprick, making recommendation of some bonus for those who did not use or used very little of the paid time off during this pandemic. Mr. Wieprick, you have anything to add before we move on?
I do not. Just a quick recap. We had talked about there being a $1,200 bonus for those folks who basically used 40 hours of administrative leave or less. There was one in there that'll be prorated that was kind of used about half of that amount, but that's pretty much it, just for folks who maybe weren't privy to the discussion on Wednesday night.
Now, am I correct that there are various amounts? For the employee that only used 22 hours, there was going to be a smaller
Right.
amount, is that correct?
Yes, and I proposed that that individual get 80% of the bonus amount.
Okay, were there any other changes for any other employees in that?
No, sir.
No. I believe the discussion left off Wednesday evening that we would extend this to all of the employees eligible, including the acting city manager, Mr. Wieprick, despite the fact that he had initially excluded himself. I believe we all agreed that he should be included. Am I correct in that, council? Okay, very good. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve the essential employee leave policy as presented, except amended to include Mr. Wieprick.
So moved.
All right, and do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. I have a motion from Councilman Hale, second from Councilman Vigliotti, and I will ask if there's any further discussion or questions from the council on this. All right. Hearing none, all in favor signify with your thumbs up. And those opposed? Very good. That is unanimous for the clerk to record. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Wieprick, for your hard work on doing that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now move into new business. We have up for approval this evening our monthly financial report. Are there any questions, or excuse me, I'll seek a motion first to approve the financial report.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
Very good. We have Councilwoman Fuller with the motion, Councilman Vigliotti with the second. Is there any discussion on the monthly financial report? All right, there is not. All in favor signify with your thumbs up. Those opposed? Very good. It is unanimous for the clerk to record. Moving into accounts payables. I will seek a motion to approve our accounts payables. And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have Councilman Haynes with the motion. I'm going to go with Councilman Hale with the second. Is there any discussion on the accounts payables? Everyone is satisfied? All in favor signify with your thumbs up. And all opposed? And that is unanimous as well, Madam Clerk. Lastly, I believe this is simply by consensus, is the council's blessing for the Parks and Rec Department to entertain sponsorship and donations as Lorena moves forward with putting on events and things. Is there any opposition to doing this by consensus? Mr. Gallo, do you agree that this can be done by consensus? Very good, thank you. All right, is there any discussion regarding this opportunity? All right, does everyone agree for Parks and Rec Department to entertain sponsorships and donations going forward? Everyone is good? All right, let the records reflect guidance from council for Parks and Rec Department to move forward with that. All right, we're going to move right into Councilmember Reports. I'm going to go by order that I see you on my screen. Starting from the bottom, Councilman Fuller, I will begin with you.
Thanks. What was that? um, I don't really have anything for planning commission, but I did want to, before we moved any further, after talking about the bonuses, throw out there that I wanted to continue the discussion and the work I guess we had kind of started on the job descriptions and salaries. We had kind of touched on that, and I just was hoping maybe we could jump back in there eventually for next year's budget.
We will be jumping back into that for next year's budget, yes.
Okay. Well, then that's all I have for tonight. I'm enjoying that we're going really quickly tonight.
Very good. I will go to Councilman Hale. What do you have for us this evening, sir?
A couple things, sir. Parks and Rec, Ms. Vacar has been very busy and keeping the parks heavily used. This Friday night, there will be a drive-in movie at the Memorial Park. You will come in the Memorial Park entrance and go out by the football field. It's a first come, first serve type scenario. They think the gates open at 8 and the movie starts at 9. It will be Toy Story 4. Joe, you be good there, okay? We keep calm. And one more thing, there's the following Friday, there's a food truck in the park. This will be a petting zoo, music, games, fun, pony rides. Those things are all over Facebook, but the event is from 4 to 9 p.m. Pretty neat. So there'll be a food truck there, maybe trucks, I'm not really sure. And then fun stuff for the family and kids. And that's all I have, sir.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Haynes, what do you have for us this evening?
In terms of public works, I have nothing to report, but I hope everyone is staying safe and staying well. We are still in the middle of an epidemic, and Maryland is doing a lot better than some other states. It takes a village, but no, that's all from me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Pro Tem Foster, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yes, on the economic development front, I'm pleased to report that there was a revamping of the rules for funding for sole proprietors for businesses. So that gives a few of our Taneytown businesses some relief where they were not getting it before. As the mayor mentioned on Wednesday, I attended the MML virtual conference, found it very interesting. Aside from the technical difficulties here and there, I managed to go to several workshops. I always avail myself of the open meetings just to keep up. So I attended open meetings. I also attended the Secretary's Roundtable and was in a session with one of the governor's secretary and found out some interesting information about possible grants that could be available down the road for some Taneytown initiatives. Nancy and I are going to check further into it before we bring it to council. Also attended, what else was it? Open meetings, the Secretary's Roundtable, of course, Main Street, and community collaboration workshops. So all in all, it was very interesting and I enjoyed it. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Moving on to Councilman Bigliotti. Do you have anything for us this evening, sir?
Yes, sir. A few things, but maybe I just want to ask Mayor Pro Tem Foster if you wanted to talk about the business relief meeting we had the other day.
Let me see if I got my, go ahead, Joe, you can do that. I don't have
Oh, okay.
in front of me.
Just to very briefly sum up, Mayor Pro Tem Foster, myself, Economic Development Director Nancy McCormick, and Chris Tillman, who is of the Chamber of Commerce for Taneytown, had a virtual meeting where we discussed the ongoing efforts to put together a small business relief fund. And it's been decided that we're going to partner with as many organizations as we can in order to bring this to fruition so that we can do our best to assist our small businesses, including ones that are owner operated, as we seek to, get out of the coronavirus pandemic and its effects that it's had on everybody. To Councilman Hale, I will do my best to contain my excitement, but Toy Story 4 is the one Toy Story I have not yet seen. I'm going to do my best to focus on parking cars rather than watching the movie. And as for this evening, I have the police department report for June 2020. The total number of dispatched or generated calls for service numbered 465. The total number of citations issued at state, city, and repair were 41. The total number of adult arrests were 15. The total number of juvenile arrests were 4. And the total number of warnings issued were 33. In terms of good news for the department, members of the police department continue to be involved in community events and activities as the state moves through the process of reopening. As an example, our officers were present at the very first drive-in movie event held at Thunderhead Bowl last month, and they'll be present again this month. The police department also wants to thank residents of the community who have reached out to show their love and support for them in these challenging times. Our police officers want to remind everybody that they remain devoted to public safety and to security for the city. In terms of community outreach, National Night Out has been postponed from August until October. More information will be shared as that event date draws closer. Of special note, Taneytown has been witness to 3 protests over the past several weeks. These have been mostly respectful, and the department and city officials have both monitored them to ensure the best possible facilitation for each, to the extent that even those protesting have thanked the department and the city for their courtesy. Our 3 recruits are scheduled to graduate from the academy on August 7th. They will thereafter enter field training, and by October will be out on patrol in their own right. And finally, I just want to say a quick thanks to Dan Dennis, who heads up our IT department, for continuing to make these virtual meetings possible and accessible to the public, and to the Media Center for joining us tonight. And Mr. Mayor, thank you. That's all for me this evening.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. I have a little bit to report. I'll touch again, as Mayor Pro Tem Foster did, regarding the virtual MML conference that I believe most of us, if not all of us, attended. It was hard to know who was there since I couldn't see your smiling faces at each of the sessions. It was a very educational time for all of us, and I appreciate MML going the extra mile to make that a virtual setting since we couldn't go to Ocean City this year. Aside from that, we continue dealing with the pandemic. I encourage everyone to please be responsible for yourselves. If you go out, you are encouraged to wear a mask, try to keep your social distance. Overall, we just want to see this thing to the end so that we can get back to a much more normal lifestyle. We don't need the conflicts. We don't need the politicalization of it all. And the same goes with all of the unrest that we see right now in the country and locally. Councilor Vigliotti mentioned we did have some protests. They were peaceful. It was great. I think they found some support for their own cause, and I think other people in the city have had their eyes open to what others are going through. I think as a general rule, it's important that the residents of our city stay united in all of this, that we are one people in one city, and hopefully we can all just get along and move on together, make this a stronger place to live and a better place to live. Aside from that, I think we're all just waiting for life to get back to normal. We can go back out to doing events. Fortunately, we're starting to see them come up again. The drive-in movie, as mentioned, is coming up this Friday evening. I know Councilman Hale, Councilor Vigliotti, and myself will all be there helping park traffic again. Toy Story 4, as mentioned, we have the Food Truck Friday coming up the following week. And then the park's going to start getting busy again with sports coming up in the fall seasons. I believe there may be some sort of dog show event happening in the very near future down there. So the park's starting to get used again, and that's exciting to see. I encourage everyone to be outside, enjoy some of the sunshine. We could use some rain, but overall, stay healthy, stay active, and just everyone will be happier at that point. I think that's all I have tonight. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
I will take the motion from Councilman Fuller. I will take the second from Mayor Pro Tem Foster. Councilman Hale, you missed out on all of them. All in favor of adjourning, signify with your thumbs up. Is anyone opposed? No, they are not. Everyone enjoy your evening. Have a happy August, and I'll see you in September.
Fudge.